All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of the OA Challenge. Today, we're going to be diving right into the weeds with Keepa. And we've got several things to talk about, including sales ranks and what they mean, because they're not always what you mean. We're going to see what the price of items are selling for, talk about signing up for Keepa, talk a little bit about Amazon to Amazon flips, and then, of course, I'm going to get to as many questions as I can today. I've got a hard stop at 5:30 today, so we'll have to hard stop at 5:30, but we will go until then. So let me just grab something here. It's all good. Let's see. Make sure I have this. I'll have to find that here in a moment. See where it's at. Need to make sure I have the code for you guys to get the. Actually, you know what? I'll just send a message. I need to have the code for you guys to get a free month of Keepa. So, all right. Let's see. Get to it. So today, I'm going to go ahead and be sharing my screen quite a bit, and let's start with sales rank. Okay, so we're going to start on Amazon. Let me pull up a listing here and share my screen. And do application window. There we go. All right. So we're going to pull up some items here. I always like to go to Spider-Man toys. Now, let's find an item that sells. Here we go. This will be a good one. So this Spider-Man Far From Home jet will be a good example. And what we're going to see here is we are going to see everything about this particular item. I'm going to take away a few things, new, and we're going to go through these one by one, okay? Because I know that some people have never used a Keepa graph before. So the first thing we're going to see in orange is when Amazon is in stock and at what price they're at. So we can see here that it was at $24.99. Okay, this is their price history. And whenever they come in stock, they seem to be at $24.99. If you would like a free little tip, this would be an item that I'd be setting a Keepa alert on to get at $24.99. Looks like it's only selling for $32.98, so it's probably not something that would be, well, it's period. It's not an item that would be a good flip. But if it were selling for something like 40 or 42 when Amazon's out of stock, this would probably be a really good flip. They seem to come in, you know, maybe once or twice or 3 times a month. So this could eventually be a good flip, especially in Q4 if this were to shoot up to, say, $50, and Amazon continues to get a few of these every now and again. This would be something that you'd want to flip on Amazon. Okay. The next thing we have down here is the new price. So we've got all of these new sellers, and this is going to be whether they're FBM or FBA. Okay, so $32.98 is the price, whether it's being sold by FBA sellers or if it's being sold by merchant fulfilled sellers. Then we've got a used price down here. So it looks like there were some used offers, $24.82, $21.03, but we're never really going to be selling used products. That's not something you're going to use very often. Then we've got sales rank. Okay, now sales rank, I have it set so that the lower the green, the better. Okay, some people have it flipped so that the higher the green, the better. Okay, what we want to remember is that the lower or the closest to zero that the rank is, the better that this product sells. All right, and now we're also, I'm going to take away this new here. We also need to realize that a sales rank is an is a number that changes quite often, changes every hour. Now, it's not always picked up every single hour by Keepa. Okay, so what we're going to see here is this was Monday, July the 6th at 11:59, and the rank stayed the same until looks like 2:40, around 2:50 a.m. July the 7th. Okay, so we see here that, and yes, it was in the middle of the night, so there probably weren't a ton of sales going on, but we can see that this sales rank did not change. All right, so one of the things we have to realize is that just because the sales rank hasn't changed, the welcome banner is blocking some of Keepa. Let me take a look here. Oh, shoot. It's hard for me to look. There we go. Let me take off this banner here. Hide that. There we go. Good. There we go. Welcome banner's gone. Let's see here. Video too small. Can everybody see the page, or is it too blurry? So what I will do is I will make this a little bit smaller, and that should help. So let me know if that does any better here. All right, let me know if that look is any better for you guys. It's fine. Okay. All right. Okay, so where was I? So we need to know that a sales rank not changing is, see, fine on full page, all good, good for me. Fine for, okay, perfect. So we need to know that a sales rank not changing, it does not always mean that there are no sales. Now, the other thing is we see this sales rank go from 5,303 up to 6,229. Okay. This also does not mean that this just stopped selling. Okay. And so the sales rank went up. It means that this item started selling slower in comparison to other items in the category. Okay. So sometimes people will get really granular with their Keepa charts, and they'll be like, "Oh man, this thing, is sold 1, 2, 3 times today," and that's not the case. I can guarantee at this kind of sales rank, you're seeing something that's selling regularly, maybe multiple times an hour, maybe once or twice an hour, but you're seeing something that's selling pretty quickly. And if you bought, let's say 50 units of this at, $10 or whatever, you'd probably sell through all of it pretty quickly. Okay. So that's sales rank. Now, let me go back to a little further out here. Go back to the 3-month view. Now, Keepa also recently introduced this second little bar down here. And this is the sub ranks. So what you're going to see up here is the sales ranks for the toys and games. Down here, you're going to see the sales rank in not only toys and games, but also the subcategory of action figures. Okay, and sometimes the main category is not available, and only the subcategory is available in sales ranks, and that's why it's kind of both of these right here. All right. Now, the other thing you're going to see is you're going to see the list price that's available. List price is up here at $24.99. You can see that's also where Amazon is selling it. These don't always show up, and so I really never have them turned on, but that's available to look at. Okay. You can see collectible prices. Someone had it listed as collectible at $24.99, then $19.99, and then finally $14.99. Again, not going to be something you're going to look at very often. You get to see new third-party fulfilled by merchant. So we can see that right now we're looking at $34.94 in the fulfilled by merchant section here. And again, you're typically not going to be competing for fulfilled by merchant in most cases. But if you are, you can look at that and see where they are priced at. You're also going to get to see any warehouse deals. So if the warehouse has an item that is damaged and have been returned, you'll see those in here. They were actually priced a little bit high, or right below what Amazon sells them at brand new, $24.82 compared to $24.99. These aren't going to be things that you're really going to be looking at either, unless you're wanting to buy one for yourself or something. One of the other important ones is new third-party FBA. New third-party FBA. You can see these prices here. These little triangles, $32.98. You gotta get to see what they're selling at all the time. Okay, and if you actually click on one of those, you're going to see that the K&B General Store was who Keepa scraped when they pulled this particular offer data. Now, the most important part, in my opinion, is excuse me, is the buy box. Okay. Now, the buy box changed. It used to be pink triangles, and if we actually take this out to a year, we're going to see back here where we had some pink triangles, and those were the buy boxes. But now we've got this bar graph in here. Okay. Now, it used to be that you could also click on them, and you still can. You just have to click near the front of the little highlighted portion. Okay, so we can see this particular buy box here was held by Chewy's Toy Chest. Their rating is 97%. This is how many reviews they have. So if you want to go after someone who's got a nice amount of reviews, you can actually click on this. It'll take you to their seller overview in Keepa, and then you could do something like stalk their storefront. Okay, but that's for another day. All right. Sorry, bear with me, guys. One moment while I go approve somebody into the Facebook group because they waited. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay, so excuse me. So one of the things you can do with these is you can actually find people that maybe you want to go and look after. Okay, let's see who is here. That's Firefly Buys. They've got a ton of reviews. These are really great ways. You may not act. Well, that was Amazon, but then when we come back up here, we're looking at another Firefly Buys. Let's see who it is over here. New Bend Discount. All these have a lot of reviews. Okay, so these might be places that you want to stalk because they've been around a while. They probably know what they're doing, and you might be able to find some good deals based on what they're selling. Okay. And when we get into some manual sourcing, we're going to talk about stalking these storefronts manually and kind of creating yourself a tickler file, if you will, to be able to go out and source where other really good sellers are sourcing from. All right. We also have a used like new in here. So we've got used like new. You can do used very good, used good. And the reason I'm kind of brushing over these is these aren't things that you're going to be really going after. We're not selling used products. We're not talking about selling used products. And then, of course, we've got eBay in here as well. Now, if you were doing some Amazon to eBay drop shipping, which is technically against terms of service, you'd be able to see in here that the prices on eBay are very similar to Amazon. So this wouldn't be something that you'd want to drop ship on eBay most likely. All right. We talked about these subcategory ranks. We can see here toys and games. If we hover over it, we've got the top level category rank, and you see that it's got a nice velocity. It moves up and down, of course. but this has got a really nice velocity. It's never gone above 15,000 in toys and games in the past 3 months. And then, of course, we can look at the action figures section here. It's also got a nice velocity. You can see that starting in May, it started to go up a little bit, but it's still selling really, really nicely. This is the kind of thing that you're going to be looking for when you make a sourcing decision. You don't necessarily need to go and count Keepa drops. Keepa drops are not something that is indicative of a sale in most cases. Now, we can look at a book here in a few minutes, and we're going to see that, okay, well, this book has sold 15 times over the course of the past 12 months because we get to count every single drop when it happens. And Keepa may have missed a drop or two, okay, but we can get pretty close. But with an item like this, we're really looking for the velocity. And the same goes for an item that might be ranked, 100,000 on a regular basis. We are looking for velocity. We're not necessarily looking to count the drops. And I'll show you where you can find the drops and things like that. Now, down here in this third bar is going to offer you the number of offers. Okay, so right now I'm showing the new offer count, and we're going to see here that there's 15, and now it's up to 29. So my guess is that either people are getting back into retail arbitrage and they're finding these out on Walmart shelves or Target shelves, maybe in the clearance section, and they're sending them in, or there was a sale somewhere, and that's what took it from June 7th until now to get so many more sellers in there. Okay. You can also check out the used offer count. It's a little black line down here. You can see there's not very many used offer counts. There's one and so on. Okay, so we can see that used offer counts, used items do sell. They just typically sell slower. Okay. We can see collectible offer counts. So we can see there was one collectible offer. Looks like there might be one on the listing right now, or maybe they actually just came off, and that looks like they might still be there. Okay. And then we also get to see the rating. All right. So with the rating, we can see that it's at 4.5. It's been at 4.5 ever since, or at least 3 months. And it looks like it was at 4.9. It came down a little bit. And that could be either Amazon removing reviews, or people unhappy with a price, or all kinds of things. All right. And then finally, we get to see how long, in the range section, we can also see the review count. Okay. So we can see that the number of reviews is consistently going up. Back here 3 months ago, it was at 421. And then now it's up to 505. Okay. You can see it's got a nice peak there, or nice upward trend, and this item is selling on a regular basis. We know that by two things. We know it by the sales rank, and we also know it by the fact that there are reviews that are consistently coming in on this particular product. Now, some of the other things to know about Keepa are down here. You get to see the sales rank. They've added these recently. You can see the sales rank, which says top 1% toys and games. And then here in the sub rank, we see that it's number 139 right now, which is the top 1% in action figures as well. Okay. Then we've got this community tracking feature. This lets you know that there are 9 current users who are tracking this product in all worldwide locales. All right. We can see that they're looking to get it from Amazon for $15. Excuse me. And I'm not sure where they came up that price with. We'll look at the statistics here in a few minutes, and we might be able to find why they chose that $15. And then it looks like new, some people are looking at $32.98. I'm not sure why that is. Now, in the statistics, we can see a lot of things in the statistics. You can see, let's see if I can get that. I can't get it to stay open, so I'm not going to be able to use my mouse. But we can see the Amazon information. The lowest price was at $19.99 on February 14th of 2020. We can see the current price, which is out of stock at the moment, their highest price, which was $24.99 the last time they were in stock, their average price over the last 90 days, their average price over the last 180 days, and then drops if there are any. And in Amazon's case, there were none. We also get to see new. The new lowest price was $5.64 on February the 3rd. Now, I would take an educated guess and say that 564 was actually just the purchase price. There was probably a $10 or $15 shipping charge in there as well, because they do not always grab the shipping charge. Matter of fact, most of the time they don't grab the shipping charges on the new sellers. We can see that the current new seller is at $32.98. The highest price on May the 1st of 2019 was $59.99. The average price over the last 90 days is $30.63. And the average price over the last 180 days for a new seller is $26.96. And then we can see that there is an average of 23 drops per month over the last 90 days, which in this particular case, it means price drops. Okay, so that could be a penny, that could be $5, could be $10, but that's how many price drops they have recorded over the last 90 days. We're not really going to go over the used section. It's the same information for used, but again, we're not selling used products, so it's not something I'm really worried about. But in the last one, we get to see the sales rank. We get to see the lowest sales rank at the very top right. We get to see the current sales rank as of 26 minutes ago at 5,788. We get to see the highest sales rank, and of course gives you a date there as well. And then the average sales rank over the last 90 days and over the last 180 days. So this gives us a really nice picture into the kind of velocity that this product has. This has a really, even though the chart looks very squiggly and the rank goes up and down, we can see that over the last 90 and 180 days, the average sales rank on this product is incredible. Okay, if I could buy products to resale under 10,000 profitably all the time, I would totally do it. But of course, that's where everybody would also be sourcing. Now, here's the place where people get a little tripped up. This drops in the sales rank. They show 87 drops per month over the 90-day average. All right, this product is selling more than 87 per month, and people will say, "Well, there's 87 drops in the sales rank, so that's how many times it's selling." That is not the case. Okay, we've talked about this particular item. We saw 3 sales drops, in like a 24-hour period. I know that this is selling more than 3 units in a 24-hour period, just because of the sales rank. So it's impossible to know the exact velocity on a product using Keepa, and you can use estimated sales figure tools and things like that, and you can get a guess, but that's what they are. And Jungle Scout, Tactical Arbitrage, they've done the work to try to figure out what a good algorithm will be. However, they are really just really good guesses based on some data that they've collected. Okay, Amazon doesn't give the data out or anything like that, so we can't know for sure exactly how much Amazon is selling and shipping out to customers. So the drops is interesting to know, but it's really not of any use, especially for a product ranked right around this particular section. Okay, so this is all of the price history portion of the Keepa chart. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. You're going to be looking for products, like this, where the Keepa graphs are really nice. This one really has a fairly steady price history on it. Okay, we can see it's up a little bit, it's down a little bit, and back here it was much cheaper. But over the last, since May, so over the last 1.5 months or so, the price has stayed fairly consistent. I don't consider a $2 drop too big of a deal. Okay, especially for something that's moving this quickly. So let me see what kind of questions we've got in here. Okay. What kind of sales create a drop? Will an FBM purchase create a drop on the graph, a used purchase? So, from my understanding, it's any purchase. Any purchase at all can create a drop on the sales rank. Okay, so if there's a purchase, it can equate to a sales rank drop. Now, here's one of the things about Keepa. A an increase, okay, does not necessarily mean there's not sales during that time. If an item goes from rank number 1 to rank number 100 over the course of a day, it doesn't mean that sales have dried up. It just means that sales have slowed down in correlation to other products in the category. Okay. Let's see, both the graph on the product page will say which it is. Let's see here. Does Keepa graph variations independently or are all variations graphed collectively? That's a great question. So let's go look at a pair of shoes really quickly. All right, let me pull this question down so we can look at a pair of shoes. Let's go with Nike Air Max and see if we can pull up some dad shoes. Maybe not. Let's find, here's a good pair. We'll look at these. So what we're going to see here, okay, is we're going to see that this has a fair amount of variations. Right? Sorry while it loads here. We're going to see a fair amount of variations on this particular product. Looks like 108 in-stock variations. Now, if you open up RevSeller's variation viewer, you're going to get the reviews for the different colors and sizes. And what you're going to notice is that most of these have the exact same sales rank. Okay, looks like there might have been one outlier there with like a 500 million sales rank or something, or a 5 million sales rank. That's probably just some sort of mistake. But we can see that most of these have the same sales rank, or at least very, very close. So, and if you read down here, they actually have, where is it? I know it used to say it, but these are going to be for the entire variation, okay? For the entire set of shoes is what this is going to be for. So if a size 11 in black sells and a size 12 in white sells, they're both going to be counted toward the sales rank on this particular shoe, all right? And that's in most cases. Now, it used to be much different in like health and beauty. Health and beauty variations would have completely separate sales ranks. However, I can see that they're merging those together a lot nowadays. So you're seeing a lot more of these variations being the same inside of other categories also. Okay. Let's see here. Looks like variations is between data and earn money. Yeah, you can pull up some variation data. Let me open this down here. But what that's going to do is it's not going to give you the information on the different variations. It's not going to give you like a sales rank or a different chart or anything. Okay, it's going to give you prices and things like that. And if we click on it, it's just going to pull us up to this particular variation. It won't tell you the actual sales rank or anything like that. How many months do you have to go back on a Keepa graph before you can reasonably disregard a large price drop? I'm usually happy with 3 months, but then I also always look at the 6-month graph really quickly before I make a decision. How do you manage alerts when you track a certain product? We're going to get into that next. Am I concerned about the difference in pricing pre and post COVID? Sometimes on some products. We can see on this particular shoe, for example, let me pop that off of here. Not that, let me close that. We can see that on this particular shoe, that there really hasn't been too much Well, this has only been in here 80 days, but this hasn't changed much. It's probably not going to. If we were looking at a can of Lysol, yes, I would be worried about it. If we were looking at, um, hand sanitizer or wipes or something like that, yeah, I would absolutely do that, or be worried about pre and post COVID. Sorry. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna get down to some of the other questions here once I get through a little bit more information here. Let me go back and okay. So now let's talk about the next thing that you can do with Keepa, and we're going to talk about tracking products. Now you'll need an account for this, of course. Um, you need the actual paid account for this, and there's a couple of ways that you can track products. Let's go over to your settings for a moment. So in the tracking settings, I have mine set to Pro, okay, and I have it set so that I get. No, it's actually over on the. It's over in Keepa.com. Sorry, I always forget that they put it in Keepa.com. Tracking overview, settings. So in your settings in Keepa, you can choose how to get notifications. You can choose email. You can choose Facebook Messenger. You can get web push notifications, which mine is supposed to be turned on. You can also get a Telegram Messenger, and you can get an RSS feed as well. Okay, so those are the different ways that you can get notified. And then you can also re-alert your timer. And we're actually going to be going over Keepa again tomorrow on the actual page here. So we'll get into some more of this stuff as well. All right. Now we're going to talk about how you can track the product. This particular item, a lot of these are not sold by Amazon. Okay, but you can choose if it's sold and fulfilled by Amazon. Let's look at this particular item. It's being sold for $95. Let's just say Amazon was on this listing. I might want to know when it's going to be $89 if it were sold by Amazon at 95. Okay. Now, of course, they're going to tell you no suggestions possible due to missing price history. And that's good. That's good to know. Okay. Now, the other thing you can do is you can actually switch this to increase the tracking. So now what I'll do is I'll get an alert if the price goes to $89.01 or more. Okay. Now, the reason that this can be really important is, let's say that you have a product that you're selling and the price tanks on it, and you've sold out, but the price tanks, and you're like, man, that was such a great product. I'd love to come back in on it. Well, what you can do is you can create a Keepa alert so that when the price hits X amount of dollars or more, you get to know. Okay. And then you can go and look at it again. You can see, oh, well, that low baller has sold out. Maybe they're not going to come back, and you take a chance on it again. Or maybe you're just like, you know what, I'm going after this because the price came back. Or you can track it a little bit longer over the course of a couple weeks or a couple months, and you can see that the price stays above what you were selling it at before. Okay. So this can be a great way to track prices both up and down. You can do this for new as well. Okay, so right now it's at $95. So 10%, or sorry, it's at $94.93. So if I were to get a 10% lower price alert, I'd be at $85.43. I could set it to $75 if I wanted to, or anything else that I might choose. And then I can also go to increase the tracking as well. So if I wanted at $75.01 or higher, by a third-party seller or Amazon, shipping not included. Now I can include shipping costs so that I can choose third-party FBA sellers, etc., and so on. I could do Prime only if I wanted to. Sorry, I'm getting a scratchy voice today. So there's lots of different ways to track this here. You can track used as well. We can look for lightning deals. We can track only new third-party FBA. So if we want to buy an item from a third-party FBA seller only, we can track those. We can track the number of offer counts. So I actually do this when sometimes there are items that have like 20 sellers on it, and I know that when there's 10 sellers on it, I can typically make a profit. So I'll put in here that, well, I only want to know when there's on this, let's say on this particular item, I want to know when there's 6 sellers or less. Okay. I've also done this the other way. So I saw a product that I thought was going to get hot. I didn't get into it. And I was like, you know what? This has 5 sellers right now. Let me know when it has 20 sellers or more, just so I can get an idea of how many people are getting onto this listing. Okay. A great recent example of that. Oh man, there's a lot of people here. Whatever. A great recent example of that is, and we won't get political at all, but Aunt Jemima syrup. Okay. We had a bunch of news articles about brands that are going to be phased out or completely changed. Aunt Jemima is one of them, and we saw not only the price go up on Aunt Jemima syrup on Amazon, but we also saw the number of sellers going out and sending in stock to Amazon just shoot right up. And as soon as I read the article, the very first thing I did was come and look at a Keepa graph to see what was going on. And you could see the sales rank drop precipitously and the number of sellers start climbing really, really quickly. Okay. Now, the other thing we can do is we can add a memo in here. So this was for a Nike shoe. All right. Let's put in here Nike shoe. Also, what I've used this for is you'll see in there, you'll see that I put a price alert for a product and that I actually put the source site in as the memo. That way, when I get the Keepa alert, right in the memo is the source site, and I can go in and I can buy that product again. Okay. You can also add tags if you want to. So this particular item, I might put shoes, and then you can sort by tags inside of the Keepa alert system as well. All right. Outside of just prices, we can track the sales ranks. We can do that up or down on the sales ranks, just like we did on the prices. You can track the rating, which maybe for shoes, it might be important, but I'm not really sure of a reason that I would track the number of ratings, or track the rating percentage. I'm not sure why I would track the review count either. And then even more ways to track. We can track the buy box only. Okay. So right now, this particular buy box is actually at $95. Okay. So let's say that I'm only interested in this shoe if the buy box gets to $89 or less. We can track the listing price. We can track the trade-in value, the number of collectible offers, the number of refurbished offers, and the refurbished price. And then we can choose how long we track an item. So I typically just keep mine for a year. I click on start tracking, and then it will alert you every time something hits your particular filters. Okay. So what I would suggest you do with this is go track a few things. All right. Go to Keepa, go to an Amazon product detail page, click to the track product, pick a couple of ways or 1 or 2 ways to track a particular product, and then start tracking it and get those alerts so you see what they're like. I keep mine on Pro. You have Advanced as well that you can choose from. So it has fewer options, but I like to always see as many options as I can. All right. The next thing we have in here is data. Okay. In the data section, we get to know some product details. So we get to see an image and the title. We're going to get to see the rating, the review count, the last price change, who the lowest FBA sellers are. Okay. This is also a really great way to be able to find out who some competition is that you might want to model. We get an estimate of the pick and pack fee, who the lowest FBM seller is, who the buy box seller is, how long this has been tracked. Then we've got categories in here. We can see the category tree, the ASIN, the product codes, both UPC and EAN if they're available. And then we get to see the parent ASIN. And then we also get to see the variation ASINs in here. And then one of my favorites is actually this frequently bought together. So this isn't a great example, but let's just say that we click on this frequently bought together item here. We've got the Nike Air Max Torch 3 men's running shoe. Okay. The other particular item was the Nike men's Air Torch Max 4. Now, you wouldn't do this in shoes, but let's say that this is another category. You might actually be able to take something in that data section that frequently bought together, and you might actually come up with some bundle ideas. Okay. So, and the frequently bought together is not always a single ASIN. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 ASINs. So maybe you go in and you find a fairly popular product. All right. Let's go back to Aunt Jemima. Let's say that you are going to buy some Aunt Jemima syrup, and you're like, I don't necessarily want to deal with all these other people. What are some frequently bought together items with Aunt Jemima syrup? And you can then create a bundle and be the only person on that listing. Okay, so there's lots of reasons that you could use that frequently bought together. You can see the manufacturer and the brand and the product group, the color, what size this particular variation is, the dimensions, the weight. You need to remember these are in centimeters and the weight is in grams. Okay, and then we get to see a lot of averages and currents. So we've got the sales rank information for 30, 60, 90, and 180 days. We also get to see the sales rank drops over the last 30, 90, and 180 days. Remember, sales rank drops do not equal sales. I know that shoes at a rank at, what is this rank? It was under 5,000. It's selling a whole heck of a lot more than 31 over the last 30 days. Okay. We can see how many reviews there were over the last 90 days. Now, this is not great math or scientific math either. But one of the things you can do is, let's just say that this is getting a 1% review rate. Okay. So if we take 2260 and we divide it by 0.01, we could estimate 226,000 pairs of shoes sold over the last 90 days based on there being a 1% review rate. Okay. Now let's say these are shoes and maybe the shoe review rate is a little bit higher. Okay. Let's say it's 5%. So we've got 2,260 reviews. We divide that by 0.05 to get 5%. And now we've got 45,200 pairs of shoes over the last 90 days that have actually been sold. All right. That's at a 5% review rate. So that is probably going to be a much better indicator of how many shoes are being sold than just counting the sales rank drops. Okay. Now, of course, it would also be helpful to know how many of those were verified reviews, but that's just another metric you can use. Don't use it as gospel. Okay. It's just another metric that you can use to figure out if something is actually selling or not. And in my next example, I'm actually going to show you something where a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm not buying that item, when you actually should. Okay. You can see the Amazon 90-day out of stock rate, 100%. Amazon has not sold these in 90 days. And then we get to see the new prices, 90-day average price, you got third-party FBA, 90-day average, the FBM averages, the list price, the new offer count, the number of offers average over the last 90 days, et cetera, and so on. Okay. So we got a ton of data in here that we can look at to kind of verify what we're seeing. Okay. We talked about, so let me close that here. Oh, in offers, okay? In the offers section under the data, we get to see who is actually selling these items, okay? So there's a lot of ways we can parse this data. Right now we have all new sellers, okay? So we can see someone's FBMing or merchant fulfilling these at 94.93. They've got a 75% rating, 9,361 reviews. And then we've got some FBA sellers here, 94.95, 95 bucks. They're the ones with the buy box right now, I think. You've got these other sellers right there matching the buy box price. All right, more prime sellers. Then we got FBM sellers out here hoping for a sale at 119 and 136. Okay. We can parse this data down to prime sellers only. We can go to free shipping. We can go to FBM only, so we can see who's FBM. Not sure exactly why I didn't pull that prime seller off of there. Oh, they might be, this seller might actually be FBM, but they might have prime shipping available. So that's probably why this is pulling up here, at 94.95. We can also include historical offers. So what we can see is these people may not necessarily be on the listing right at the moment, but they were on the listing before, okay? And then we can show potential scam offers sometimes, but not on everything. And I don't know what algorithm they use to figure out potential scam offers, but it's there, it's available, all right? Now, one of the great things that you can use with this offers data is we can go in here and I can be like, oh, well, this Prime Shipping Fast, they've got 4,000 reviews. Or you know what? I've got around 500 reviews on my storefront. So I really want to go and model people who are maybe a little bit bigger than me. Okay. So maybe I don't want to go after this Prime Shipping Fast because they may have much deeper pockets than me. But this LOA products, they've got a good rating, especially in today's climate, and they've got 719 reviews. So you know what? I'm going to pull them up, and I'm going to take a look there because I want to see what they're doing. I want to maybe model this, and it looks like they might be only a shoe seller. Look at some of these brands. Yeah, so they're probably only selling shoes. Okay, and I would imagine they're probably doing retail or online arbitrage with the kind of brands that they have in here. Okay. So they've got 591 results. So what I can do is I can go and model and say, okay, well, let's see if I can find these shoes. All right. And we could find one or two different stores. Here's one at 600 or 650 reviews. I can go look at them. Okay. And I don't want to go after these folks because they've only got an 81. So they're obviously doing something wrong. All right. So I want to keep it at a higher rating. Next thing we can do is and you can export all this data as well. Okay, so you could export this to look at later. All right, we could look at prime only. All right, and let's say that we go in here to the rating section and I pull those to rating the highest to the lowest, and then I export this data. All right. And that's what I could do to export all these and maybe look at the sellers later on. All right. We can go look at the buy box statistics as well. We're looking at the range right now of 30 days. So what we can see here is that LOA products has won 30% or 36% of the buy box. Their average price was $95. Average new offer count at the time was 6. That's the name, that's the rating, that's their review count, and the last time they won the buy box was today, 1648 is, well, yeah, 1 minute ago, okay? Would have been 4:48 p.m. We can see that Prime Shipping Fast, they've had 34% of the buy box over the last 30 days, and the last time that Keepa grabbed the data where Prime Shipping Fast was getting the buy box was 6 days ago. Okay, so 6:30 at 8 o'clock at night. Okay, so lots of cool things to look at in here as well. We talked a little bit about the variations. We get to see all the different variations in here. You can, oops, didn't mean to scroll up that far. You can actually export these. Okay, click the export button. You grab all the ASINs so that you could actually maybe run these through a tactical arbitrage, run these through manual sourcing or anything like that. And you can even open this up in the product viewer to look at it a little bit deeper. I think we're going to go over Keepa again tomorrow. We'll actually talk about the product viewer because there's a lot of things that you can do in there. Okay. You've got an earn money section. This is just Keepa's affiliate program. You can see that it does not pay well. Okay. I have current credits of $25.20. I've had 60 browser extension installs, and 13 people have purchased actual data products. So if you share the link and someone gets it for you, for every browser extension that gets installed, you get 10%. You get $10 if someone buys the data features. It's a one-time payment, and you request this payout in Amazon gift cards, and that's the only way that you get to use them. Okay. However, I would suggest that if you are telling a friend about FBA and you're like, you need Keepa, give them your affiliate link. Everybody gets one. It's under the Earn Money tab. Now, in the settings section, this is something you're only going to want. You're only going to really need to set up one time, and then that's going to be it. Okay. So you're going to want to set up how your chart appears. I have mine set up to show Amazon and new prices. My range is at 3 months. I do have the close-up view turned on. I have it filter the extreme values. I have my tooltip date format in an American version, so Tuesday, July the 7th, 1640. So it's going to be military time. I could have it set up like this, which would make it easier to read in regular time, but military time isn't too difficult for me. In the tracking mode, I keep it on Pro. The desired price reduction preset is 10%. The merchants to pre-fill with the desired prices. For me, it's going to be Amazon and new. Amazon is the only place I'm going to buy flips from, but I do have it for new for when I go in and track my own particular items. I have it tracked for 1 year at a time. I get notified for upcoming lightning deals for tracked products. So I will do this on what was the last thing I bought? It was an Echo Show, and I could see that the last time Amazon had a lightning deal was within a month. So I had it set up so that I would get notified of the next lightning deal, and I grabbed one on a lightning deal for 40% off or something like that. My timer rearms every 1 day. So if I get an alert on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I won't get an alert until Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon again. Okay. Amazon Smile. This is just where Amazon gives money to a company or sorry, not a company, a charity. I don't have that turned on. I'm not exactly sure how that works inside of here, so I've just never turned it on. In the add-on settings, I can set up my Keepa box vertical size. I keep it at 200 so it doesn't get huge. If I put it at 500, it's going to, actually, we'll just take a look here. We do 500, okay, and then I refresh this. We're going to see that these Keepa graphs become much, much larger, okay? Take up a lot more of the page. So I try to keep mine at a somewhat manageable number of pixels so that I don't have to, take up an entire page. The Keepa box horizontal size, I keep mine on dynamic. If you put it on full window width, it's going to go across the entire bottom of your screen. It'll still do that in dynamic in some cases, but if it's not able to, think video game product detail pages, I want it to be dynamic all the time. The Keepa box is my default view. If you turn it to button only, you'll actually have to click on a Keepa button for it to load. By doing this, the page will load faster. Okay, if we refresh this page is going to load faster. And then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to show the Keepa box and then let that load by itself. So what I do is I keep it on the Keepa box and I just let it load a little bit slower. But if I'm opening up several at a time and looking at them, going back and forth, then I typically don't have to wait around or anything like that. Okay. I have mine set up to show the price history graphs as overlays when hovering over Amazon products. So what this means is out here, if I hover over the product here, I actually get a Keepa graph in the bottom right-hand corner that I can look at really, really quickly. Okay. Let's see, where was I? Display products stock quantity. This is also a great little feature. It does not work all the time. Okay, now let's go into this listing here, and we are going to let's choose a variation. Let's go with 9.5. And what we're going to do is we are going to go to the all prime offers. And on this particular page, if it's possible, Keepa is going to show me how much is in stock. Okay, this one says 20 plus in stock. That's an estimate. This is also an estimate at 20 plus. That seems to be about as high as they go. This one has 1 in stock. So when they can, they will tell me how many are in stock. Okay, it doesn't always work, but it's gotten better and better. Okay. Allow the add-on to gather Amazon prices to improve our price data. I think I was telling you guys about this the other day. This is actually one of the ways that Keepa gets a lot of their data. What's happening is we're on these product pages, myself as sellers, etc., and they're actually scraping the data from our computers and using it to make Keepa a better product. I go ahead and, even though I like a little bit of privacy, Keepa does a heck of a job for us. And so I leave that on and let them grab the data. Okay. So that is how you use the Keepa graph on the actual page. Some of the things that you might want to look at on occasion is going to be the Keepa news section, which you'll see up here, and they'll actually tell you here are the things that are going on. Okay, like for example, we can see this Facebook Messenger bot notification. Facebook has changed their notification window. All right, so they may or may not be able to. Actually, they're not even going to be able to use Messenger bots anymore. Okay, going to need to set up a different notification channel. Looks like there was an outage on Sunday night on June 22nd. They talk about the dedicated sales rank graph on March the 16th. Okay, so keeping abreast of that information is important. We can see the comments. Might be you have a question, you want to read through their forums. You can go through here. Sometimes this is just as toxic as reading through the forums on the Amazon seller forums. So I wouldn't spend a ton of time in there. You can manage your price watches from in here. So you'll actually see I've got some price watches on some products in here. That Honest multi-surface cleaner is one that I had a price watch on. And in the memo section of this particular item, let's see here. Let's go to the track product. Yep, there it is. So in the memo section, I actually have the link to this particular product detail page, and they don't sell it anymore. So this can be really, really great for a particular listing. Okay. And let's see here. Close this. Let's go to what else was there? Oh, product finder. We're going to talk about that later. You can find related deals. Okay, so this is going to pull up shoe deals on Keepa. We're going to go over this as well. And what's the other thing here? We got related best sellers. So we can look at other best sellers in this particular subcategory. So we can see road running. And now we've got a list of a bunch of other best sellers in this particular category. Okay. And we're going to talk about bestseller lists as well and what you can do with those. All right. So I think, yes, I think we've covered everything on the actual Keepa graph on the page. So I'm going to go back. I want to answer some questions, and then we will dig into some other pieces of Keepa as well. So let me pull up the right one here. All right. Let me go back to the bottom and see what is going on here. It would be great if you can cover nuts and bolts in the extension we just opened without AZ web page, like bestseller. Yep, we're going to go over that. That's no problem. We're going to talk about reverse sourcing with Keepa on the manual sourcing day. Please cover your thought process on purchasing decisions using Keepa. Try to cover a couple different scenarios if possible. If this would be better answered in a different module, that's cool too. We'll talk about this when we actually go through and do some manual sourcing. Hey guys, sorry I didn't say hey. I wanted to get rolling as quickly as possible. Let's see. Got that. Move the welcome banner. The video's too small. We got that all taken care of. Looks good. Good to go. All right, let me get down to some questions here. Better, 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 better. Excellent. Good, better. Hi. Can you see if they share the buy box with FBM? So sometimes you can do that. Let's go back to this Amazon. Actually, let me turn that question off now. So you want to see if Amazon actually shares with an FBM seller. So what we're going to do here is you're actually going to need to look at the buy boxes. Okay, so we can see here that looks like this was a prime seller. Okay, and the buy box. Let's see where it was. Was it July the 6th? I believe is when that last buy box was. June 28th. July 1st, July 3rd, July the 6th. Let's look at this. Falcon footwear, that one was no. So sometimes you can see them, okay? But what you have to do is you have to look at these buy boxes, okay, and see what they are. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. Thank you, dear. Yeah, so you have to go through here and actually look at each one of these and see where the seller might be, okay? Looks like, let's see here. Looks like so they did have a third-party FBM seller on June 24th. They must have gotten the buy box at some point, okay? It's hard to tell where they share the FBM buy box with an FBA seller, especially on shoes. Shoes probably isn't the best example. Let's see here. Hello. Trouble finding the video. The definition of collectible. So this is something that you're going to want to read the condition guidelines for, but collectible on Amazon means exactly that. It's hard to find. It's one of a kind. Those kind of things. It would be the regular definition of collectible. In making a buying decision, is it better to use 3 months or 1 year? So I like 3 months, okay, because a lot can change in a year. Let's say 6 months ago, that Spider-Man toy that we were on, and I'm going to go ahead and remove this here for a little bit while I answer some questions. Let's say that 6 months ago, that Spider-Man toy would have been a horrible purchase, especially if I was out doing retail arbitrage. At $24.99, Amazon's on it, you know, and I'm going to guess that it's being sold for $19.99 in stores. It's going to be something that I wouldn't be interested in 6 months ago. However, I can see that Amazon rarely comes in stock now, and what I can do is I can see they're selling regularly at $32, and if I can get it on clearance or something like that for $15, $12, then it's going to be something that I would probably buy. So I'm typically looking at 3 months, but I will also go and I'll take a quick peek at 6 months or a year just to look a little further out. How do you determine how many sellers are on the listing? That was that third bar graph in the Keepa graph. Okay. You can also just look at the actual listing and count how many sellers there are, but the bar graph is the easiest right down there at the bottom. Can you explain what is the buy box and how does it work? Yeah, so the buy box well, actually, I can leave that up here. So the buy box, let me open this up, is this little section right over here. Okay, you're going to see the price up here. You're going to see that it's prime. You're going to see it says only 2 left in stock. Order soon, giving you some FOMO. It's going to give you an add to cart button and a buy now button. Tells you who it's sold by, and that's it. This is a buy box. The buy box is where 80% of sales come from when there is a buy box. It is not very often that people are coming down here to the other sellers and trying to figure out which one of these they should buy from. All right, even though we can see that 94.93, well, that would save me 7 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it from this person. 80% of people plus buy it from up here in the buy box. Okay. Let's see. Does Keepa graph variations independently or all variations graphed collectively? We talked about that. What kind of sales create a drop? We talked about that. How can I tell when Amazon's selling the product? That was when we saw the orange, okay, on the sales ranker on the Keepa graph. That's when the orange is in there, okay. Let's see here. I do not have the code number for Keepa yet. I had it handy and I lost it, so I just sent out a message to get it. So as soon as I get that, I'll have it in there for you guys. If we have Jungle Scout, do we need Keepa? I've never used Jungle Scout. It's not something that I have really ever used, so I can't say how accurate their Keepa graph-like item is. So I believe that Keepa is like one of the top tools that you need to have. Are you concerned about we talked about that. How do you manage alerts when you track a certain product? Are there SMS alerts? We talked about that. Let's see here. Yes, I already have Keepa. Unfortunately, so I already have Keepa is a discount just for new signups. So the Keepa folks were kind enough to give us a discount code, which like they don't do. But unfortunately, it's only for new signups. Okay. We looked at data. So I actually wasn't thinking the Air Max is a dad shoe. I'm wearing a pair of Air Maxes right now. It's the Nike Air Monarch. That's the dad shoe. What is a lightning deal? A lightning deal is a very short, typically timed deal that Amazon offers. Matter of fact, if let's look up Amazon lightning deals. Amazon deals every day. And they'll have these short burst of lightning deals that you can go and find where you can get items for a nice big discount. Okay, lightning deals are Prime members only, etc., and so on. Okay. We're probably not going to go over very much bundling and how to do it and how to build a listing because we're limited to 14 days. It's kind of hard to get through all of that. Let's see here. Hey guys, I think I must have blinked and missed something. How is Chris getting this pop-up data on the Amazon product page? I have Keepa, but I do not get this pop on my Amazon product pages. That was in the settings portion. In the settings portion of the Keepa graph. Okay, let's go down here. Settings. And in the settings portion, it's got a hover over. Where was that? Default. The add-on. Filter tooltip. Show price history graphs as overlays when hovering Amazon products. Go ahead and hit yes to that. You may need to take a moment to set it up, and you can turn on Amazon, new, sales rank, and then I have mine set to 90 days. Click on save, and you're good to go there. Okay. What is quota? There's a great question. So in the quota section here, okay, let's go back to price history. You're going to actually start data section. So you can see quota left 199%. When you pay for Keepa, there are only so many of these that you can run every single day, especially if you are going into the product finder. They're only going to give you so much. Now that refills. Okay, and you can see that I have 200% because I actually have two Keepa subscriptions, an API subscription and a regular subscription. So I get a little bit more. But if I go to the product finder and start pulling, that's not a good one. Let's go to the something that pulls everything up for me. Find all related deals. So this uses part of my quota when I pull up this kind of information. Okay, so there's only so much information you can pull every day with your 15 euro per month charge, but it resets all the time. It's always coming back a little bit, and you can that 100%. It won't even take a full 24 hours to reset. You'll get it back in like 12 hours or something like that. Did the bundling policy change? In groceries, yes. Bundles in groceries, from my understanding, is that it has to be a manufacturer's, no, it has to be a manufacturer's multi-pack. You'd have to ask me a more specific question on the bundling policy. Can you go over how to use the buy box in conjunction with new FBA? I think we talked about that. The buy box and new FBA are typically going to be the same. Is a 1% a good rule of thumb review rate across all categories? I don't know, unfortunately. We can only guess, okay? If I figure out my review rate on my own storefront, it's maybe 0.5%. If you're really, if it's a private label product and you're like really on it, you might get a 2 or 3 or 5% review rate on your actual product. My guess is it's probably closer to 1 or 2%, but I can't tell you that for sure. But I always figure it's around 1 or 2% when I'm trying to figure out whether or not a product is a good product to sell. And I'm going to show you an example here in a few minutes. Do you know how Amazon determines the list price? Well, if this listing was created by an Amazon seller, you actually get to put in the list price yourself. It could, and you may see the list price change. Maybe someone has edited it. Okay, maybe Amazon has changed it because one of their bots found a list price somewhere else. So it's hard to know exactly how that's determined. But when you create a listing, you actually get to put in a list price. Talk about analysis paralysis. By the time you have done all this on product, you would never get. Yeah, you can definitely have analysis paralysis. So here's one of the things about looking at a history graph, and that's why I tell people, like, don't dig into each one of those drops. Okay, don't go look at the per day. Oh man, this per day, this sucks. If someone didn't know that every single rank drop doesn't necessarily mean one sale, they'd be like, well, the sales on this today have absolutely sucked. Okay. And if you go look at the week, well, that looks like it sucks even more. All right. We go look at the month and it looks a little bit better. But if someone didn't realize that, I just need to count drops and I don't also need to, kind of keep in mind the correlation to sales rank and average sales rank and the, things like that, someone might say that this is not a great product. Okay. So what I would do is, rather than trying to figure out, you know what, this particular item, the rank drops 20 times per month, and there's 5 other sellers, so I can only buy 2. You just need to look at how the product sells over time, okay, and then you buy and test, and then you buy some more and test some more. So, like, if I were going to buy this particular shoe, and let's say that I could buy this particular shoe, after I do some variation reviews and things like that, and I could buy this shoe for $40. I might buy 5 pair of these shoes and send them in. And if they do really well, then maybe next time I buy 10. Okay. And if it continues to do well, then all right, well, maybe now I'm going to buy 20 or 30, or maybe I sold out so fast that I actually need to buy 50 this time. Okay. So that's what this business is about. All right. We want to find these base hits. These base hits turn into doubles, and then these base hits turn into triples and homers, because an item becomes a replen. An item becomes something that we get to maybe buy seasonally every single year. Okay. I've got a buddy who creates the same, like, back to school bundle every single year. It's the same listing. He lets it go out of stock every year. Then he goes and buys all the items, creates the exact same bundle. It's all name brand items, and boom, he's back in business at back to school time with the same listing. Okay. So we don't, it's easy to get analysis paralysis, but you just have to overcome that. Okay. Follow up to the list priced question. Is there anything we need to know seller strategy wise related to list price? I'll be honest, not in my opinion. I've never really worried about the list price to really make any kind of decisions strategy wise. If we use Keepa on a mobile phone, do we need to set up the settings again? You should not have to, because you're going to have to log in. So you see up in the right-hand corner of Keepa, I've got my name there. The reason that's there is because I've logged in. I've had all my settings. They're all saved on Keepa's server. Can your Amazon buying account get banned if you buy from Amazon and immediately resell on FBA? No. It is not against terms of service to buy products from Amazon and flip them. They are called Amazon to Amazon flips. The thing that you are banned from is you are banned from using Prime benefits to purchase items to resell. So I always suggest opening up a business account on Amazon to buy your items for resell. Okay, have a non-Prime business account. I totally don't use Keepa to its full potential. I'm going to have to watch this video again. Perfect. Yeah, Amazon Smile is a great way to donate to charity of your choice. Oh, that's all, $1,200. That's great. I really should do it more often. I'm just not sure what it does inside of Keepa. A little late, but I'll catch the replay. Can you go over how you did a rough calculation? Yeah. How did I do a rough calculation for sales velocity again? So let me do this. Let me pull up a calculator. some sort. So let's say, for example, this particular item, sorry, let's go back to the data. This particular item has 2,260 reviews over the past 90 days. Okay, so 2,260 reviews over the past 90 days. Now, let's divide that by 0.05. Okay, actually, this particular shoe has only been tracked for 80 days. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. We'll just say that 90 days is what's in here. So if we take 2,260 and we divide it by 0.05 or 5% review rate, we get 45,200. So if that got exactly a 5% review rate at 2,260 reviews, there would have been 45,200 sales over the last 90 days. That comes down to 502 pairs of shoes per day. Okay. That is that's a rough estimate. I don't know, what number of reviews shoes get. And of course, shoes where they have a high ranking are going to get more reviews. So maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 13% with a shoe ranked that high. So it just depends. Okay. Let's see here. Also, would you please refresh me on the rules on buying on Amazon to resell on eBay? So technically, it would be the same thing as buying an Amazon to Amazon flip. You are not supposed to buy with your Prime benefits to resell at all. Okay. However, remember, if you don't use your Prime benefits, I think it's still 25 or 35 bucks to get free shipping. And if you have a business account, it's free shipping at like the stream. There we go. And I'm going to remove this. How do you use the filter extreme values? How helpful is that to reduce chances of FBM only elevated prices? Yeah, I haven't really seen that extreme values come into play very often, but every now and again you're going to see some price shoot up to, $1,000 on a product. And I just don't want to see those when it's typically selling for $75. What is a good sales rank? Are they different for each category? So yes, good sales ranks are different for each category. If we actually go to Keepa, let me pull the screen back up here again. All right, if we actually go back to Keepa and we go to the data section and we pull up the category tree, what we're going to see here is all of the categories in the US. Okay. Now, if you happen to be outside the US, right up here in the corner, you're going to see Amazon.com. And we can go down here and we can choose a different Amazon locale. So I can pull up Canada. I can pull up the UK. I can pull up Japan. Okay. But in .com, we can see every single one of the categories here. And we can then go, okay, well, in grocery and gourmet food, there are 2,759,000 products. All right. If we go back to our calculator, there are 2,759,000 products. The top 1% is 27,590. All right. But you can sell a heck of a lot more outside of that. 2 million, what was that? 2,759,000. Okay. Let's multiply that by 0.15. That's 413,850. So the top 15% is 413,850. All right. Let me go back to, you're probably not going to sell a lot of groceries ranked at 413,000. What you are going to do is you could sell a fair amount of groceries at 50,000 and 75,000, but you're not going to want to go as deep. Okay, this is why using the velocity, okay, is going to be a lot better. All right, so let's go look at. Let's do this. Let's look at mashed potatoes. Let's look at mashed potatoes, and It's always what I use for some reason. Let me find something that is ranked a little bit higher here. Here, let's look at this one. And then we're going to look at this one. All right. So on this particular item, this item is this red mill potato flakes. We can see that it's got a really great sales velocity on it. Okay, it it wasn't so great, and then I would bet you money that it became a. They took all of these, all right, and these became one variation listing rather than a bunch of singular listings. Okay, and we can see that the rank became really nice on it. All right, because one of the products on here is selling really well. If we actually look at the variation viewer, we're going to see that it is the 16 ounce. Okay, so 16 ounce pack of one. This is the one that's selling really well. So this one has got a nice sales rank on it. The whole listing has a nice velocity on it. Okay, and if we actually, let's go look at a month, we can see that the velocity is good. All right. Now let's look at these mashed potatoes. This has a current rank of 96,000. So a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm not selling anything 96,000. However, if we go down here, we can see that it does sell. Okay. It moves. All right. It's not moving fast. It's not moving crazy fast, but it is selling. All right. And if we go here, we can see that over the past couple of weeks, the sales rank has gone down and down and down and come back up. And it's still selling at 115,000, even though it's there for a while. It's either at 115,000 for a couple of reasons. One, it's just not selling a ton, or two, Keepa's not actually grabbing the data as much as it should. Okay, so I bet you that with this particular product, it's probably selling, I don't know, a couple a week, maybe even more than that. All right. But you just need to see that it's moving. So rather than using just BSR, you're going to want to use the Keepa graph, okay, and see how many are moving, see what the velocity is like. On this particular item, like I would buy something like this if there was some profit in it. And what I would do is I'd say, okay, I can see that the sales rank on this, it's not great, and I can see the velocity isn't crazy. It's not like these mashed potatoes, okay. Uh, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy like 3 of these. I'm going to send 3 of these in. I'm going to see that I've got one other seller to compete with, and let's just see how many move, okay? Because this may be a diamond in the rough. Maybe this is something that sells 30 times a month, and well, I get to split it with one other seller, but maybe I'm making 20 bucks a unit on this, okay? Although this is a big heavy item, it's probably not quite like that, okay? So this would be something where you test and then you come back in again. Okay. Let's see. We're coming up on an hour and a half, so I think we're going to have to talk about doing Amazon to Amazon flips tomorrow, but we will get to Amazon flips. How do you estimate the units that will sell? You cannot really estimate the number of units. You could use tactical arbitrage, you can use Jungle Scout, but again, those are just estimates. Those are not things that we can, we can't really rely on them. I love tactical arbitrage. They did a great job building out their algorithm, but the thing is there are just so many variables you cannot know unless you are the one selling it how many units are going to sell. That's why you go wide, you go shallow, and then you replenish as you can. Okay, maybe you buy 5, and then you're like, oh, so here's a perfect example. I bought an item not too long ago, and it was a 2-pack, so I bought 12. That gave me 6 units. Okay, I sold through the 6 units in like 3 days. I was like, oh, okay. So the next time I sent them in, I was like, you know what we're going to do is we're going to send in 18 units. Okay. So we've got 36, broke those down into 18 units. All right. We sent in 18 units. And now they haven't been checked in and they haven't been put into my inventory yet. But once they're in there, then I'll see how well they sell. And if they sell within a week, then I'll be like, all right. Well, when I sold 6, it was 3 days. When I had 18, it was a week. So those numbers line up pretty well. So now I need to go, well, do I want to buy for a whole month? If I need to buy for a whole month, well, now I'm looking at what, 72? Is that right? 36 times 2? Yeah, I'm looking at 72 units. So do I want to go 72 units deep? And then the decision is, okay, well, if I buy 72 units of this particular item, am I going to be strapped for capital to go and test other items? Okay. So those are the decisions that you need to use when you're kind of testing and coming back. What specific times do you track? Not how, but when. I'm not 100% sure I understand the question. Let's see here. What is the chart called under the title of the product? So you're talking about this item right here. This is Rev Seller. Okay, don't go out and get Rev Seller yet. I've got a discount code for it that's coming up, and I'm also going to teach you how to use Rev Seller. Okay, Rev Seller typically looks like this. I also have this open so that I can look at a little bit more data. But we're going to talk about Rev Seller when we go over tools one day. Does the number of pieces per SKU help you win the buy box? There have been rumors that, if you've got 20 units in stock, maybe you're going to get the buy box a little bit more than someone's got 1 unit in stock. But I don't think that's true. Just in my own opinion, I don't think that's true because I've gotten the buy box when I have 1 in stock when another seller has 100 in stock. Let's see here. Yes, today's news, they did talk about Walmart gearing up to compete with Amazon for Prime sales with their own version of Prime. Now, here's what I would say to this. They have tried this in the past and they failed. So hopefully it will be different. Now, you'll have to read the terms as to whether or not this will affect Walmart as a potential source. I would imagine that they're not going to want you to use their Prime membership for reselling, and they will probably they'll kick out resellers from that program. However, I don't believe it will affect sourcing from Walmart. You just don't use their Prime benefits. Can you let us know about suppressed buy boxes? What would you like to know about suppressed buy boxes? Where do you go on Keeper to find out more about their filter and tab? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. We're actually going to spend some time in the Keepa, Keepa.com itself. Should you sell an item if the buy box is not available? Yes, that's called a suppressed buy box. Yes, you can buy items if there is no buy box available. You have to realize that when there is no buy box available, they have to click through to see all the sellers. Okay, those typically slide out from the right-hand side of the screen. And then typically you're going to need to be closer to the bottom price-wise to get that next sale. Okay, but it's all about reading the Keepa graph. Okay, if the Keepa graph is still moving, if the sales rank is still moving while the buy box is suppressed, then you can absolutely sell the item. Okay. For online arbitrage, what other extensions are a must? We're going to be going over that on the tools day. How do you know if products sell on eBay? You have to just go look. I'm not an eBay master, and so I don't want to dive into eBay when we're doing an online arbitrage challenge. Let's see. Recently, you often see items having their sales rank disappear from Keepa. How do you estimate those? So here is a good example of that, and I meant to do this a little bit earlier. Bayer aspirin. Now this is going to have Amazon on the listing, okay? But this particular item here, Bayer chewable aspirin, I cannot sell this, and I don't think any. I think there might be a few sellers on here. Well, we can see this has no rank, okay? And if we scroll down to the Keepa chart, we can see that it had a rank for a very short period of time. All right, rank for a very short period of time. And actually, if we go out even further, you can see only a rank for a very, what is this? Let's see here. Go from here to here. And that is less than a month. Okay, so it had a sales rank for less than a month. But what I can see is I can see a very consistent number of reviews. All right. And if we go down to the data box, I can see that over the last 90 days, there's been 1,067 reviews. So in this particular product, let's say that I could sell this. Let's say I could buy it and make a profit on this particular item. Okay. I'd be like, all right, well, there's 1,261 reviews. I can see that over the past 90 days, there's been 1,000 reviews. So if I go back to that calculator, all right, calculator, I go back to that calculator and I've got 1,096 reviews. And let's say this thing gets a 10% review rate. Okay, that would be 10,960 over the last 90 days. 121 units per day. Okay, I mean, heck, even if this thing, let's get out of there. It was 1,020. Divide this by 20%. It's 5,100 divided by 90. That's 56 units a day. So if we got a 20% review rate, 20% of customers took the time to leave a review, that's 56 units per day on this item with no sales rank. Okay. So one of the other things that we want to take into account is not only the sales rank, because I can guarantee that someone will come in here and say, well, this has no rank and this has 770,000 average over the last 30 days and even worse over 90 and 180. This is a horrible product. Nope. This product is killer, at least sales velocity wise. Okay. So we want to look at the number and the recency and the frequency of reviews. All right. So the other thing we can do is we can actually go to this, we can go to reviews and we can look at most recent reviews. And we can go down here and we can see July the 3rd, July the 2nd, June 30th, June 29th. This is getting one review a day. Okay. And then it went a couple of days. Now you've got June 25th, June 25th, June 23rd. This thing is getting a ton of reviews. It's selling a ton. Okay. Let's see here. Do you need to set your products up before you send them in to get on the lightning deal, or is it just so I've never set up a lightning deal for a particular product. So I don't know how to set them up. Never messed with those or anything like that. So I'd have to do some Googling to figure out how to set up a lightning deal. It's typically for Amazon stuff, or like private label sellers. You might be able to do it for arbitrage products, but I'll need to double check that, and let you know. Yeah. I didn't mean the Monarch. I'm sorry. I don't know why I called it the Air Max. I'm wearing a pair of Air Maxes too. Let's see here. Will you teach us that type of information? I'm not sure what type of information do you mean there. Do you link your Keepa account with external accounts? I don't. I don't have anything that requires my Keepa API key. So I don't. There's nothing to connect it to. When would it make sense to increase your quota limit if you're absolutely blowing through your quota? So here's the thing: a lot of people are going to go and pull a bunch of data, but then they're not going to use it. Okay, and we're going to talk about tomorrow about pulling some data and then actually using it. I know I just got a note here. It's past 5:30. And I did say a hard stop. I'm going to try to get through these questions, and then I'm going to have to run. But if you're going through the quota and you're actually using the data, then it's time to increase the quota limit. This would be the perfect time to launch your Keepa course. I will create that tomorrow morning, and it will go alongside this video. Okay. Because I actually have the videos recorded, so I'm going to put them behind a passworded wall so that you guys can look at them. Okay. Does the number of items available per SKU? We talked about that. Great information, even though I've been using it for years. Is Keepa tied to Amazon account? Nope, it's not tied to your Amazon account. When you say Amazon business account, do you mean Amazon professional account or LLC company? Now, what I mean is Amazon business account. So you can go to business.amazon.com and you can create a business buying account. It's like your regular Amazon seller account, but it is through a business. You can be a sole proprietor. You do not have to be an LLC or anything like that. And you can buy through an Amazon business account and you actually get invoices and things like that. Where did you get the variation viewer? That is through that one is through RevSeller. Tactical Arbitrage also has one. We're going to get deeper into both of those things in a few days. Okay. It's not your selling account. Yeah, that's good. I'm assuming that when the sales rank, okay. I'm assuming when the sales rank goes down, the item is selling. But what does it mean when the rank goes up? It means that it's selling slower in relation to other items. Can the reviews over the last 90 days be inaccurate due to items being merged off or on the listing? It might be. It might be, but typically that's not going to happen. Oh, nice shirt. Thank you. I thought this was appropriate to wear a Keepa logo while we go over the Keepa product. Chris, you were talking as if we can go back at will to rebuy product. Not possible for some of us as we depend on sales. So those sales should be cyclical, okay? I think that was a birthday gift, buddy. Sorry, guys. I think that was a birthday gift for you. Quiet, please. Sorry. Quiet. I'm on a call. You're going to need to take those out of here for just a few minutes. Sales should be cyclical, and I've talked about this a lot. But if you should be able to buy on the sale again. I have a product from Walgreens that I only buy on sale. Okay, but if sales are only coming around one at a time or one time only, then it's just not going to be a product that you replen. And so I would choose other products. We're going to talk about this kind of stuff in manual sourcing. Okay. What are my thoughts on a regional buy box? It exists. I don't know the exactly how it works, but it does exist. How can I quickly get seller feedback to be eligible for Prime Day? I'm not sure that you're going to need seller feedback to be eligible for Prime Day. Prime Day you're just going to need products at FBA. On Keepa, how do you find products that have been depleted on Amazon? We'll go over that tomorrow. Why would a buy box get suppressed? It can be a lot of reasons. Typically, it's because the price of a product is higher than Amazon wants it to be. How do you keep items to replenish? We'll talk about that another day. A spreadsheet is what I use. All right. Yeah, I got to get that Keepa code. I don't know why it's not been given to me. So I will get the Keepa code, and I'll be sharing it a little bit later on today, guys. So, all right, we're at an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to call it for today. We're going to have another Keepa session tomorrow because there is so much data to go through, and we're gonna have some more time together tomorrow. I'll have a little bit more time to be able to go over everything, and we'll do that. So. We will meet again tomorrow at 4 p.m. And later this evening, I'll have that code up for you and directions on how to sign up for Keepa with a discount. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great afternoon and rest of the evening. And make sure to keep checking the units tab as I get things in there and things like that. And I will see you guys tomorrow where we go into Keepa round 2.